It has been, in the most part, a strong year for Bitcoin. The notoriously volatile asset logged fresh record highs in the fourth quarter, surpassing its peak from December of 2017. So, what's in store for the cryptocurrency in 2021? With me to discuss is Tone Vays. He is a derivatives trader, analyst, and YouTuber. Tone, great to chat to you. Now, before we get into the outlook for 2021, let's just have a quick look back on the year that we've just had. Given all of the economic shocks from the pandemic, were you surprised that Bitcoin managed to surpass that peak from back in 2017?
I was a little surprised, but given the environment in the second half, my projection was that at some point in the first half of the year, we would have a big fall down to 5,000 or lower. That's exactly what happened. COVID had something to do with that, of course. And then my projection for the rest of the year was that Bitcoin would get stuck below 10,000 and close the year around 10,000. But considering how much money printing was done in the second half of the year, and it's not even that the money printing itself is going into Bitcoin, it's just that when that's happening, people start to lose confidence in the US dollar. People start to lose confidence in the US system, which is the world reserve currency, especially with the election controversy and the global shutdown. And all these corporations started to buy Bitcoin by tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. Bitcoin had a very good end of year run, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in 2021.
What do you think is the correlation between equities and Bitcoin? Say if we got a market crash in 2021, what would that spell for Bitcoin?
So there is plenty of correlation between stock market and Bitcoin. And I believe Bitcoin benefited greatly in the last decade from this bull market in equities we had in the last decade, because they are both private assets. There's really two types of assets in the world: private and public. For example, government bonds, and they're more public assets. Even your real estate, a lot of people see real estate as a private asset, but technically the government can easily take that away. They tax that. Countries invade other countries. There's a lot of private ownership of real estate, but the government has a lot of access to that. Bitcoin is truly the most private asset there is, because if you properly buy Bitcoin and protect Bitcoin, the government has absolutely no access to Bitcoin. Equities are similar. An investment in equities is an investment away from public assets, because even a company like Apple or Amazon, if something is bad is happening in the US, the company can just move. Their businesses are so global. So it's not even that people are confident in the stock market. It's just that they're not confident in public assets and the dollar that those assets are priced in, and that's the reason why there's such a correlation.
It's not just about the fact that those assets are public, it's the fact that those public assets aren't yielding anything. Is that really the main reason that people are flocking to equities and Bitcoin, the fact that interest rates are so low?
Well, there's two reasons why people invest in any asset. One of them is a return, but the other one is safety. This is why when there was a panic, like what happened with COVID, the markets crashed 50%, because people ran into the safety of the dollar and away from speculative assets. Gold also has done very well. Gold is another asset that doesn't yield anything. It's just a safe haven asset to protect what you have. So this market crash that we had in March had nothing to do with the fact that all of a sudden equities and Bitcoin are not performing. It's the fact that you have so much uncertainty in the near future, you want the safety of cash. But when that safety of cash suddenly became, so the money printing came, and the safety of cash no longer looked safe when the US government printed 20-something% of all the dollars outstanding. And if you look at a country like Canada, they crushed that percentage based on the size of their economy. And that's when people realize, wait a minute, safety isn't in the dollar, safety isn't in cash, safety is in speculative assets like stocks, like tech stocks, like Amazon, like more internet-focused stocks like Zoom. And safety is the dollar, because now that the governments have destroyed the world economy by shutting everything down because of a virus that has a 99 point something percent survival rate. The economy is destroyed, and people want to hide their money because they know that taxes are about to rise and other restrictions are about to happen. So it's the safety. And an asset like Bitcoin, because there's so few Bitcoins to go around, it doesn't take much of a thought in people's heads to run to the safety of Bitcoin to spike the price in the asset incredibly high.
There are some crazy estimates out there about just how high Bitcoin could reach next year. Some are saying $100,000. I've heard $200,000, $300,000, and beyond. Give us a sense of your expectations for where Bitcoin can head to by the end of 2021.
I try to be as responsible as possible. I'm usually one of the guys that keeps expectations low, and I would love to be wrong and be surprised to the upside, of course. So Bitcoin technically has no limit. The biggest thing holding Bitcoin back is unit bias. We are still pricing Bitcoin as a Bitcoin, but one Bitcoin can be broken down into 100 million pieces. Each piece is known as Satoshi. So if Bitcoin starts getting priced in Satoshis, and one day that's going to happen, the unit bias will no longer exist, because right now one Satoshi is worth way less than a penny. But eventually one Satoshi will be a penny and then 10 cents. And that's basically $1 million Bitcoin, and that's coming. For me, in 2021, my target is 45,000 for the price of Bitcoin. That's only one more doubling and a little bit more. That's my low end target. We could go higher, of course, and if we reach that target, I will adjust. I do think right now we have gone up a little too far and a little too fast into year end. Assets that reach prior all-time highs after a long period before getting to that all-time high tend to slow down and pull back. We've seen gold do this when it hit 800 back in 2010, 2011. We're seeing gold doing this again now that it's hitting the all-time highs of 2011. And we're seeing Bitcoin do this as well. So for 2021, I am looking here at year end in December for a potential pullback down to as low as 14,000. And then we can set off on our journey to 45,000. And I think that will be our next big slowdown spot. Another option I'm looking at is we don't pull back to that $15,000 area, and we go straight to about 25, which will definitely delay the big move in 2021. So it's a little bit hard here towards the end of December to judge it, but I'm very bullish. I've been bullish since the crash in March. I've been bullish all year. Here at the end of December is the only time I'm a little bit concerned, but I plan to be bullish 80 to 90% of all of 2021. It's just Bitcoin's time after a 2+ year bear market since the highs of 2017.
Now, I know that you're not as optimistic on some of the other cryptocurrencies, but nonetheless, there always seems to be this correlation when Bitcoin rallies, it sort of drags the rest of them with it. So what could be some of the other cryptos that might see strong performances next year?
Any crypto could have a strong performance next year. I try not to guess which one it's going to be. I look at assets from a fundamental perspective first and technical perspective second, but I trade as a technical analyst. So back when I was trading the stock market, I was never trading penny stocks. No matter what kind of tips people told me, hey, Tone, this asset, they're developing this, oh God, I hate to say the word vaccine, but hey, they're developing this cool new tech. Their stock is really cheap. I look at the stock and the stock is worth 5 cents. And that's not what I trade. No, give me stocks in the S&P 500. Give me stocks in the NASDAQ 100. Give me stocks with actual fundamentals that the market has already valued. And I always ignored penny stocks. Same thing in the crypto space. To me, from a fundamental perspective, the only crypto that has the fundamentals to be with us in 10 years is Bitcoin. I don't believe anything else in crypto is decentralized. I don't believe anything else in crypto has a long-term future. And because it doesn't have a long-term future, I don't bother speculating on it in the short term because I like to stick to assets that will still be around in 10 years, even if I'm only going to trade them for a week or two. It's just the way I look at markets. So I don't have any interest in any of the other coins. And because any one of them can go to zero on any day of the week. And I just can't take that chance. And I can't advise anyone else in my circles to take that chance.
Okay, I have a fundamental question for you then. Bitcoin's uses at the moment are quite limited. When do you think we'll start to actually be able to use Bitcoin as a normal means of payment in stores as well as online? I mean, how far away are we from Bitcoin becoming a viable alternative to cash that's in widespread use?
I believe we are not far at all. It's all about the technology is there. The technology to use it is there. It's not the most user-friendly technology right now, and the biggest problem with it is it's not even the problem with technology. Bitcoin, unlike everything else in the crypto space, doesn't have this internal incentive of a company where people get paid to promote it. I try to promote Bitcoin as much as I can, but since Bitcoin is not a company, I don't get paid to do that. This is where all of these other cryptocurrencies trick people because they have marketing budgets to demonize Bitcoin and to promote theirs. Lightning Network is the second layer of Bitcoin that makes transactions very cheap and very fast. And it is pretty robust now, but by the end of 2021, I believe all of us will already start using Lightning. The bigger challenge with Bitcoin is getting people to spend it because nobody really wants to spend it because it's such an amazing store of value. You spend Bitcoin when you have to spend Bitcoin. Very few people voluntarily spend it. They're spending all of these other cryptocurrencies because they don't care about them and they want to get rid of them. But eventually, as the price of Bitcoin rises, people that have Bitcoin become wealthier and they have to upgrade their standard of living and they start to spend it. Bitcoin is still way more useful for purchases of large ticket items than small ticket items. But eventually, it will get there. Bitcoin also has a challenge. It needs to properly scale with demand. Bitcoin needs privacy improvements. Bitcoin needs efficiency improvements. And of course, Bitcoin needs more transaction improvements. And all of that needs to come with a very convenient and simple to use UI. And everyone is working on that. I think by the end of 2021, it'll be very easy and very common to spend your Bitcoin, especially if the price rises. The rise in price is the biggest driver of spending of Bitcoin because people get wealthier.
All right, Tone, that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for all of your insights, as always. And that was Tone Vays talking us through his outlook for Bitcoin in 2021. I'm Victoria Scholar, and we'll see you very soon.
For more videos like these, subscribe to our YouTube channel, IG UK, and make sure to follow us on Twitter. We're at IGTV.